Wait a minute. Dude, that's not loud enough.
Oh, you don't think?
No.
Oh, I'd have to turn it up. All my sounds have to be the same sound.
Oh.
I got you.
There you go.
Ouch. All right, welcome to the 2,000 miles
from the totem pole
podcast. This is our first podcast, maybe our last.
Not.
It's going to be so good, Zen. We are going to have tens and tens of listeners.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least one in a row.
Exactly. I am Cat Collins, and I am here with my brother, Zen. Hi, Zen.
Yes. Hi, I'm Zen Sutherland, mad scientist, artist, and raconteur. And Terry, I'm sorry, Cat. I'll get it right.
No.
Cat. No. I think if you know. Well, I think
I have so many names that nobody knows.
Yes. What? Why is that? I was thinking about that earlier too, and it's like, I've had several names, and I sort of consolidated as I grew older and said, you know what, I'm just gonna be Zen, and it seems like you sort of had two families, so I'm thinking maybe there's the need to come from another place emotionally or psychologically.
You know what? I started that at an early age because when I went to high school, I decided I did not want to be called Terry anymore, and I'm like, everybody's going to call me by my absolute name because I'm going to be president. I don't know, whatever. So I'm like,
right.
Rob. Everyone's going to call me Rob because my real name is Robert T. Sutherland.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, before you get into your story, I'm going to have a little bit of a story in that I remember Mom and Dad talking about, well, it's going to be Robert Terrence Sutherland. Okay, that's great. And then you were born, and you were small and cute and fuzzy and pattable, and we thought, Robert? Bobby, maybe? But it was like, nope, Terry,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you just didn't seem like a Big Bob kind of guy.
I actually didn't. Well, I might have heard that conversation, but I don't remember it.
You were a lump.
I was a lump.
Yeah.
I was thinking at the time, I'm hungry.
Yes, where's that tit again? I'm just a human nymph. Right. I still need to grow.
Which actually comes to I was going to tell that story about my. Okay, so
you can continue. Yeah,
I wanted to be Rob. Call me Rob.
Right.
And then so everybody in my high school was calling me Rob, right? Because not everybody knew me from grade school, so Rob, everybody Rob, and then I had my friends in the neighborhood too, right? Who still called me Terry, and one time somebody said, "You know what? Do you have a twin named Terry?" And I'm like, no, it's me. Oh, why do you have so many names? Did you fall?
No, I knocked some shit over. I live in a world of just crap all over. Since luckily that's why we're doing a podcast that's all sonic. You don't see all of my crap.
That's exactly why I wanted to do a podcast. Hey, Zen, we used to be regular people. We are now podcasters.
We're podcasters. Interesting. Okay, so I had a thought about that. And so if an idiot had a podcast, would it be a clodcast?
Yeah.
And fishermen have scrodcasts.
Oh.
Or fishermen would have rodcasts, maybe.
Sleepy people have nodcasts.
Yes, poor planner had flawedcasts. And preachers have godcasts.
Of course. And landscapers have sodcasts.
Exactly. Fashion designers would have modcasts.
Oh, we could go on forever.
Oh, we could go. If you had 4 people, though, it would be a quadcast.
And that brings me. Oh, we have our first caller.
All right.
Like
Wow.
it's Dogcast.
It's dogcast. Oh.
Anyway, yeah. So
Anyway, so that so did you explain to them that you were the same person, or did you say, "No, I know that. I've seen
I
that
know.
guy."
I eventually did have to go back. Well, and then I'm like, gosh, this is so confusing that I'm gonna have to go. I want to go back to Terry.
Well,
Right.
well, was it It wasn't confusing for you.
Well, no, it wasn't. But
Yeah.
it confused everybody else, and I'm like, well, all right. So my real name is Terry. I mean, because
Right.
that's what everybody called me when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And then, but then, I gotta have stage name. Actually, my first real stage name came from AOL. We all remember AOL, right?
Oh yeah. Oh boy, do I. Yeah.
Oh, file's done.
Yeah. we okay. So the first thing we did in our podcast basically was see if we could imitate modems. All right.
Because that's what we do. We imitate.
so-
You and I. That's
Yeah, that's
interesting.
true.
You and I imitate everything.
Oh my God! Well, now I've thought about this too, and it's like people with, I think boys are more prone to making noise. I mean, Helen will watch me with kind of fish eyes when I'm turning in the car and go, but she'll say, well, okay, that's an interesting sound. But yeah, you and I definitely we're echoic people.
Oh.
In other words, we not just hear the sound, but we feel a need to imitate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because my favorite bird is the mockingbird.
Oh.
I mean, the fuckers know their shit, and I'm trying to teach this one mockingbird, the dee-dee-doo-dee-dee-doo. Anyway, so where were we on that?
Well, I was gonna say, like when you're little boys and you're like, out playing, you're like, pa-choo, pa-choo, pa-choo,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a gun,
Pew, pew,
whatever.
pew. Yeah.
Of course, things change these days.
Well, Terry, also growing up opposite the Dolins, it was none of this bang bang you're dead stuff.
This was
No, they had come from a war zone. So, they filled their squirt guns with ammonia and aimed for the eyes. It was like, oh, God, gotcha.
oh yeah.
I mean, it was, we threw
think-
fire at each other.
Now that you mention that, I think one thing we do have to mention here is Zen and I grew up in the suburbs of Washington, D.C.
Very international.
Yes, right. So
Our fair city.
and this was back in the 70s. So
Yeah.
our neighborhood was literally filled with Spanish and Korean.
Oh, yeah.
The Dolins were Korean?
Dolins were Vietnamese.
Oh, Vietnamese. Oh,
Actually, North Vietnamese, which was interesting because Mr. Dolin saw the writing on the wall and said, I'm getting out.
yes.
And he lost everything to move to the States.
But he worked for Voice of America.
Yeah,
right?
as a translator,
As a
or
translator, right.
maybe even a broadcaster. I don't really know.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's
That's true. We grew up in an international city, or the feeling was international. You and I, Terry, we speak broadcast English because we watch TV as kids, but we also heard many accents and a wide diversity of ways of pronouncing the same things. It was
pronouncing, tomato,
pronunciating, protracted, professional pronunciators.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny because I spend a lot of time as IT worker, right? I spend a lot of time talking to people around the world, and other people that I work with are like, oh, I can't pronounce that guy's name, or
right,
I can't understand a thing he's saying, or and I'm like, well, just listen a little better.
Right. Also, you're probably better, as I feel I am, at pronouncing written out names because we're used to a wider variety of pronunciation. I don't know. I find that I don't know, like Maria. We'll roll an R a little bit, just
exactly.
a tad.
Exactly.
It's not a double R, but
as a matter
it's
of
not
fact,
arroz.
As a matter of fact, I'm actually on my new job. There's a guy. His name is Rodrigo. It's not. I thought it was Castaneda. But it's not, right? Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm working with Carlos Castaneda.
Right.
But it's actually Castaneda because it's got the Enya.
Oh. Huh.
Actually, I haven't even asked him if that's what his name is, but
right.
How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Nieda?
Huh.
So I don't know. That's
no, but yeah. So we were exposed in a way to a wide variety of sounds of language, and I think we both love language. I think that's pretty clear. We like the sound of it, and that's just. And if you continue to listen to this podcast, then you will probably recognize that we are sound people. Terry I'm sorry, Cat is much, or Terry, yeah. But you're much more.
You're my brother. You're allowed to call me Terry.
Oh, okay, Rob.
Whatever.
But I think has a higher or more refined degree of musicality to your hearing, and you always have, but mine is more along the lines of just linguistics, language, and that sort of thing. And so I think the combination of us, you're going to hear some shit listening to this podcast. Oh, and by the way, this podcast is episode 1, not about God.
I like that.
So
I should actually call it "Not About God." Okay.
Well, yes, this is the episode name, I believe, and so we're going to do everything but mention God, which is everything. All right, but I thought that the episode should have a name. Yeah,
you mentioned it.
No.
No.
I mentioned that I wasn't about it.
I like having this phone. I like having this phone call this way. I can pay you and I can pay attention to what we're actually saying and what we're actually doing, and because you and I will go off on tangents.
Oh, big time.
Oh, and they'll be. We started with names. How did we get here?
Right. Yeah, we're 15 minutes into it, and we haven't begun to not talk about God.
Right. What? And so, going back to AOL time, right?
Yeah. What was your AOL name?
Where I was E-flat cat.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
E flat cat. In fact, I had created a Photoshop picture of you and Tigra and combined them and called it E flat cat.
Ah, Tigra. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
but anyway, yeah.
Tigra was a cat that I
E-
had that would slide down the stairs and not get damaged. She was a whack.
Yeah, E flat cat.
E flat cat. And then so when I was going out and doing like open mics and and just showing up all over the place playing different bands or whatever, I was E flat cat. You know, everybody, oh, here comes E flat cat, blah, blah, blah. Well, eventually I changed it to
Coco Pele.
no.
No.
I went for a little while as Young RT because that's what Mel used to call me, right? But then just before I moved up here to Philadelphia, which by the way I'm outside of Philadelphia. Zen, can I disclose your area?
You may.
All right. Zen is in Asheville, North Carolina.
Our fair city.
We will get to that story.
Yes, we will. Okay, so you brought E flat cat out of the AOL world and into your
music
public
world.
persona.
Right.
Now, do you? But before you get there, and this is going to be a long journey, folks.
Oh, yes, it is.
How did you perceive, because it was important for me too, how did you perceive a persona on AOL? At the time, it was all text. You
Right.
had to, so you were E flat cat, you had to join a chat room, you get in with your buds, and there's new people there, blah, blah, blah. You are different because it's typed.
Right. So what always cracked me up was, people would gravitate towards me because I was E flat cat. I was not Johnny 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
Right.
7, 9, 10. Or
I saw that as valid.
right. Or I love cats 3, 5, 9.
Right.
What?
Though
whatever, right.
though remember we did I don't know if you did, but I certainly got on as various personas to try them out. I was Susie Cream Cheese 69 for a while. I mean, just to be, to see what. Oh man, and man, I did not want to be a woman on AOL because you just get hit up constantly. It was fucked. Yeah,
I will bet. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because you only had chat rooms back then, and
Right.
Oh, and downloading pictures, files done.
Right. Right. Well,
Thank you.
okay. So one of my characters that I would play regularly was a parrot, and I would go into.
Oh, I remember that.
I would go into chat rooms, and I would use copy and paste, and I'd just copy and paste what somebody said, and with brackets around saying in so and so's voice, right? And so some people found that amusing. Some people
Found it annoying.
it would piss them off. Stop that! Stop that!
Stop that.
And so, but finally, I met up with Captain Haddock, who said, "Well, hop on my shoulder, bud. We'll go out and about." So we would go into chat rooms as Captain Haddock and a parrot, and we would have a blast. And I'm sure Captain Haddock, it was Cap'n Haddock.
Cap'n, right?
Yeah, Captain Haddock was some 16-year-old guy living at home or whatever, but it didn't matter. He would play it gnarly, my legs hurting me. Yeah. Oops, hooked my eye again. Damn it. But anyway, so yeah, the whole
hysterical.
persona thing, I think.
Well,
maybe,
how funny is that you could back then, right? You didn't see anybody, you didn't hear anybody, but you could attach yourself to somebody and how they thought and how
Yeah,
they, it was
yeah.
kind of weird.
It was
Well,
kind of.
there's a lot of that today, I guess, on games like
Yeah.
Fortnite and
Oh
you know,
yeah. When you're right, when you're playing, MMORPGs.
but you're hearing their voice and you're hearing their, you're not completely devoid of voice,
nuance,
right,
of
right.
vocal nuance. That's true because I used to play Call of Duty or one of the killer ones that you'd go out as a team and you'd have a medic with you. And we'd all be on headphones, talking blah blah blah. Okay, oh sure, the guy's over there, behind the brick wall or whatever. And our medic was this young kid who would not shut up. In fact, he would say things like, "Oh yeah, he'd say, hey, medic, I'm down on points," and he'd come over. He goes, "Sorry about the dirty needle," as he gave you, hit points.
Sorry about the dirty needle.
Oh man, he was funny as shit. But anyway,
great.
yeah. So that, you're right. You
Yeah,
could
I never
develop more of a character because,
Right. I never actually came across. I don't think I ever really played much of like online games where I was, actually listening to somebody or hearing
Right.
or whatever, until I got that Oculus Rift.
Okay.
Right? You've heard of
Yeah.
that, right? That's
Yeah.
So I got Oculus Rift, and I got this game called Ghost Gun or something. Everybody's going, it's this, I know, but I forget what it's called. It's Ghost something, right? But
Yeah.
you're like in the Old West, and everybody's ghosts, and you're shooting at people, and then I'm like, you know what? I can actually connect with other people, and there'd be this big, huge, bad dude, just walking down the street or whatever, or you're doing shootouts together or something like that.
Right.
He's big, burly, bad. You'd be like, hey, okay, I'm gonna shoot you. All right, you're gonna die. And I'm like,
Right.
what?
I know. It just didn't follow.
Didn't fit.
Though later on, games then had voice modifiers.
Oh yeah.
So that you and in some sense, I saw a value in that. Especially for women or somebody who doesn't want a bunch of undue attention.
Yeah.
She could play a guy, just play and not get people hitting on her or whatever because she sounded like this. All right. Meanwhile she's talking like this. Oh my god. Whatever.
And it really comes out, whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah. Oh. OMG. I almost blended the two.
I know,
that was
you
terrible.
almost can't do it without the...
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, okay, there we go. Off on tangents again.
All right. So where were we? We were at AOL. Oh, no. We'd passed AOL, and now you'd moved on.
Yeah. So I guess I really didn't until later. I was actually in Wanmo Time. I remember.
Oh,
that
yes.
was like
I remember Wanmo Time.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a bunch of different bands here and there, and
Yeah.
and I really didn't have a stage persona until then. And
Oh, really?
Because everybody kept saying, why? This is terrible, but I played with this guy John West, and John was musically he's a genius, right? But when it came to singing, he sang everything. Everything he sang was in Elvis's voice. So he would be like, a smoke on the water.
Right. Elvis does big hair bands. Yeah.
Exactly. And I had a couple of songs that, he would allow me to sing, kind of. You know, and, everybody liked my voice, and they were like, you should be the one singing, and then
Yeah,
so...
but it's his band, or was it?
Well,
Or
kind of.
he
It was him and I created it.
Okay.
Right, and we got two guys from church. It wasn't my church or anything.
Right,
We
right.
put an ad in Craigslist or whatever, and and got a drummer and got a bass player, and they were awesome, man. And I mean, we did some cool tunes. I mean,
Oh, nice.
you know, and we went out. We played everywhere out in Northern Virginia and Maryland, and you know, just all over. But oh my God, John was just an idiot. He just like would not. He wouldn't leave me alone for one reason. You know, he was like,
In
I
what
always had to
way?
pick him up. I always had to get all the equipment,
Oh,
pick him up, take him
yeah.
out there, bring him back. Ugh, it was horrid.
Ugh.
Anyway, so after that, you know, I thought, you know what, I've got to get just a persona, you know, a name or something, and so I started calling myself Catfish.
Okay.
And then after years of calling myself Catfish, you know, everybody knew me. Oh, it's Catfish. Hey, blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'd met up with who's my wife now, right? And her
Right.
last name was Collins. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that on. So I'm going to be. This is terrible. I'm going to be Catfish Collins because it sounds great. That is
It does.
a great
It sounds.
name.
Yeah, it is
Right?
a great name.
And then I moved to Philadelphia, and guess who lives here in Philadelphia?
Who?
Catfish Collins.
What?
Yeah, from Old Parliament, right? Actually, I think he also played guitar in James Brown's band, right? Catfish and
shit.
Bootsy,
Oh.
right? Oh, I'm like, oh, geez.
Oh no.
I know. So I kind of goofed that up. So I'm going to go by Cat Collins.
Huh.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I've gone through a lot of different names. Dunkin' Donuts, by the way, knows me as Latte Man.
Hey, latte man.
It's Latte Man. Yeah. Or I should Drunken Dog Nuts. Sorry, it's not.
Right.
I don't need to be advertising here.
No, and we are not endorsed by Dung
Ken
Dog Nuts.
Nuts. Exactly. But I mean, you went through your name change too.
Oh yeah, but luckily I wasn't very popular.
Yeah, but why?
No, so that did help. But you know, for me, it was getting mom and dad to call me Zen. So,
So
but
why decide Zen?
well, it. Why was it?
This is just a podcast of us interviewing each other.
No, dude, and you're doing great. I don't know. You know, it was a combination of things. I was studying Zen Buddhism, and you know, and I took transcendental meditation and all that sort of stuff, and so just decided, I guess like you, I just didn't want to be Kenny or Kenneth, or that sounded too what?
In your face, kind of.
Yeah,
Ken.
it sounded too much like other Kenneths. Well, and one of my first jobs, there was another Ken. No, I guess it was a Kenneth, and I went by Ken so they could tell us apart. But somebody calls and says, "Hey, Ken, are you selling that motorcycle?" It's like, "No, I'm not selling my motorcycle. What are you talking about?" "Well, you promised you blah blah." And I realized, oh, he wanted the other Ken, Kenneth. And so you know, that's when I said, you know what, I'm owning this, you know, because they sort of changed and then owned it a little bit later. But when I worked for Burke Park Authority, I walked in the first day, and they said, you have to wear green pants and a green T-shirt. Okay, I can do that. When I walk in, I had shorts on, and apparently shorts was not the thing. You know, no, we said pants. You know, well, shorts aren't pants or whatever. But
They cover my nuts, don't they?
yeah. What do you want? But the boss man, Ralph, said, "Well, from now on, we're calling you High Pockets." It's like, High Pockets?
Eye pockets.
Well, yeah, because you wore shorts, man, because you wore shorts. It's like the pockets are the same size.
Right.
I don't understand. But for many years, and like Neil Commerce and a few of the other people that I hung out with referred to me as high pockets.
High pockets.
I was just high pockets. But that's really the only Zen is really the only one that I deliberately changed to, and it seems weird to be called Kenneth or
Right.
it's not embarrassing or anything. It's just weird.
I remember when you did decide, hey, I'm going to be Zen. I thought it was so fitting that I think since then I've always called you Zen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never had a problem with it. Mom, on the other hand, Mark, Terry, Ked, what's your Zen?
Mom never knew none of our names.
No, or the food we liked.
Right.
She goes, hey, I didn't give you any baked beans because you don't like baked beans. I do too. I love baked beans. Well, maybe that's Terry. It'd be like, or no, maybe Mark. Yeah, and probably all of us love baked beans, but Mom got it in her head that one of us didn't like it.
Right.
I don't know. It's so strange.
No, I clung to it right away because when you were, you would tell me about things like, the Zenish stuff you were studying and
right.
And I love that. And I should probably note to our listeners,
our listener,
that by the time I got to where you're starting to learn memories, or you're starting to get memories of your life, you were almost out of the house.
Yeah.
So
There's a good 11.
We have a 14-year difference.
14. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that was interesting too because
four of it's Mark.
The large one. Yeah, exactly. And what was
Super
interesting?
demon.
Super demon.
Sorry, I didn't mean to knock your train of thought off.
Oh no, you always do. It's okay. but so by the time you came along, I was already involved in other things, but also I was still living at home, and so I babysat for the neighborhood because that's the other thing is I was the only one who there was no young our age women or our age girls in the neighborhood, and so I did a lot of babysitting, which was fucking great. I gotta tell you.
Was that before Jennifer and Daphne were around?
No, this was as they were around. I mean, but they had a big enough family. They didn't. Besides, Mr. and Mrs. Shanholz never went anywhere. So, but I did the Birch kids, the kids in the other circle, even little David, who named his dog Fifi, male dog. Yeah, but it was beautiful because what would happen was you'd go, they'd have you come over. Okay, okay, we're going out. Here's the food in the refrigerator. There's the Cokes. Okay, and they've eaten and now they're ready for we're just play time or something like that, and then the parents would leave and you'd play the fuck out of the kids. It's like monsters, and you'd run around and probably tear up the pool table, which I think we got a tear in the Birch's pool table because we were playing so hard. But you just wear them the fuck out. And then they
had a pool table and a pool.
Yeah. So the kids would fall asleep. You'd take them up, put them into bed, watch TV, go through, Mrs. Birch's underwear drawer, see what's in there. Then, but you'd fall asleep watching TV, and then somebody'd wake you up, hand you money, and say, "Go home." Oh, it was a racket.
Great
I tell you.
job.
It was a great job. I loved it.
Wow.
you know. But it was fun, and I'm just kidding about going through, somebody's
of course. Yeah, I know.
somebody's drawers. I mean, you're actually in a foreign house. You don't. It's
Yeah.
kind of, well, at least at that age, you felt like there's things you don't know. Oh,
There's things you don't want to know.
yes, there's things you don't want to know. Yes, exactly. But but it was
Yeah.
so actually by the time you came along, there was some, hey, take care of Terry, yeah, sure. Our mom was a working mom. She
Yeah.
did a 9 to 5. She had her own business. I'm very proud of Mom. I cannot believe that she achieved what she did on her own in a man's world. I just have all kinds of kudos for
I'm
sweet
with you.
Mom. Yeah.
I'm with you there. She is still to this day in my head. She is a goddess,
Yes.
and she's just it kind of I don't know how to put that, but it
Yeah, I know,
ruins
Terry.
me here and there, right? But I just think so highly of strong women like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, and that's one of the strengths of us as men, if you want to call it that, is that we not just appreciate a woman who is independent or whatever, or that kind of thing, but actually encourage in a era where, like, for instance, now they're fucked over abortion, but a strong woman is in your life. If you're a hetero male, a strong partner, either way, is something in which you not just honor but you encourage.
Yeah.
And so I've always sort of dated strong-ish women, and when some of them turned out to be, as people, weaker than you thought, they became fixer-uppers.
Mine always became like stronger than me, and I'm like, no, get out.
Well, see, that's the fear that men have, is
Right.
that the woman is going to be stronger than them, and they're going to be pussy whipped or whatever.
I never had fear of that. It was always
No.
like, we got to be equals here, right? But when you're like,
Right.
no, you do this, and you do that, and you do this, and you do that, and I'm like, no,
Right.
you can't just do that. You can't. Yeah. Now you've
Right.
ruined it for me.
Right.
Right.
No, I always found that there were that the ones that I were dating that it wasn't progressing the right way, was that they were not as independent as I had
As
hoped.
you had thought they were.
Yeah,
Makes
because
sense.
yeah, and that's just relationship things. That's not being a woman or not being a woman. You want a certain amount of independence in that kind of relationship to, hey, go do your own thing. It's like when I'm you got a pet dog and you want it to be a dog. Just run, have fun. No, I don't know. You gonna feed me now? Oh, shut up. Well, there was a whole story in there, and I just went through it. Yeah.
Right.
But-
Well, I'm sure we'll get to it on a podcast, right?
Well, here's the thing. This is the 6-minute warning before we go. And mind you, I have no idea why it's 6 minutes instead of a 5-minute warning or whatever. But this is the 6-minute warning that we.
You said sick minute.
Oh, this is the.
That sounds even
let's-
funnier. That's
Let's
even
have a sick minute. Oh, fuck Okay. Our
Yeah.
6 minute is over. No, but this is the now 5-minute warning because we want to end at least at 2:45. I don't want to give away any time. Spoiler alert, it's 2:40.
Oh, spoiler
Well,
alert. Yeah, really.
Spoiler alert.
Well, actually, so, all right, so this is our first podcast. And
This is our
we-
first podcast.
I know. So, Zen, we how long are we going to make our podcasts? Are they
Well,
going to be an hour?
That's the thing. I think if we need to fit it under an hour or less. I mean, it absolutely has to be an hour or less.
Well,
Because-
it's got to be a little less because we have sponsors
Oh, that's true.
such
Yes.
as
such as pillow. Look, think of what you're.
The bed for your head.
Thank you. There's pillow. What would you be without pillow? Pillow makes comfort. Pillow makes happy.
Pillow's your friend.
Pillow is love. Pillow is. Don't forget pillow, and friend couch pillow. Oh, and we'll have other sponsors once they hear how cool we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do actually have 20 minutes. If we're going to do
an hour.
If we're going to do an hour, we do have 20 more minutes left. However, I do know you have to do a...
Yeah, I have to do a thing at about 3.
And that's cool, right? Because, Zen, this is our first one, right? So
yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
And it's been fun.
It's been good, and it's zipped right along.
I know, right?
To me, the thing is that we did not spend any time umming or whatever, or I don't know.
So we should celebrate.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Look at us. Hey, and the crowd goes wild.
And I forgot to turn them down.
All right, yeah, but that's okay. We'll get the mechanics of it. And mind you, you didn't use any sound effects for 42 minutes.
Oh my God, that's impossible. I can't believe it. You're just making your own. That's a lot.
I know.
I love it.
I don't have a button.
I love it.
Okay, so
you were gonna say?
So I think that we should always end with a nice little story.
Yes,
and a friend,
we should.
So a friend of mine, James, who owned an alligator, was trying to teach it to move up, to stand up on all fours so that his belly wasn't scraping the ground.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah, and to move along in a way that seemed less threatening, I guess, is
more
the way he...
human and cartoonish, like, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that, and then he did pop out. Oh, excuse me.